Parallel programming paradigm. A system is said to be parallel if it can support two or more actions executing simultaneously. That is, multiple actions are simultaneously executed in parallel systems. The evolution of parallel processing, even if slow, give rise to considerable variety of programming paradigms. Now when you go for this parallelism, you have explicit parallelism, implicit parallelism. Here you have a diagrammatic representation for shared memory architecture and message passing architecture in the same. Explicit parallelism. Explicit parallelism is characterized by the presence of explicit constructors in the programming language aimed at describing a way in which the parallel computation will take place. A wide range of solutions exists within this framework. One extreme is represented by ancient use of basic low-level mechanism to deal with parallelism like fork, join primitives, semaphores, etc., eventually added to existing programming languages. Although this allows the highest degree of flexibility, it leaves the additional layer of complexity completely on the shoulders of the program, make his task extremely complicated. Implicit parallelism allows programmers to write their programs without any concern about the exploitation of parallelism. Exploitation of parallelism is instead automatically performed by the compiler and or the runtime system. In this way, the parallelism is transparent to the programmer, maintaining the complexity of software development at the same level of standard sequential programming. Extracting parallelism implicitly is not an easy task. For imperative programming languages, the complexity of the problem is almost prohibitively and allows positive results only for a restrictive set of applications. Declarative programming languages, and in particular function and logic languages, are characterized by a very high level of abstraction, allowing the programmer to focus on what the problem is and leaving implicit many details of how the problem should be solved. Declarative languages have opened new doors to automatic exploitation of parallelism. They are focusing on a high level description of the problem and their mathematical nature turned into positive properties for implicit exploitation of parallelism. Methods for parallelism. There are many methods of programming parallel computers. Two of the most are message passing and data parallel. Message passing. The user makes calls to libraries to explicitly share information between processor. Data parallel. Data partitioning determines parallelism. Shared memory. Multiple processes sharing common memory space. Remote memory operation. Set of processors in which a process can access the memory of another process without its participation. Thread. A single process having multiple execution paths. Combined models composed of two or more of the above. Now, message passing. Each processor has direct access only to its local memory. Processors are connected through high-speed internet. Data exchange is done through explicit processor-to-processor communication, that is, process communicate by sending and receiving messages. Data transfer requires cooperative operations to be performed by each process. Data parallel. Each process works on different parts of same data structure. Processors have direct access to global memory and input output through bus or fast switching network. Each process also has its own memory. Data structures are shared in a global address space. Concurrent access to shared memory must be coordinate. All message passing is done invisibly to the programmer. Steps in parallelism. Independently from the specific paradigm considered, in order to execute a program which exploits parallelism, the programming language must supply the means to: first one, identify parallelism by recognizing the components of the program execution that will be performed by different processor. Start and stop parallelism. Coordinate the parallel execution. Ways of parallelism. Functional decomposition, which is said to be as functional parallelism. Decomposing the problem into different tasks which can be distributed to multiple processors for simultaneous execution. It is good to use when there is no static structure or fixed determination of number of calculations to be performed. Domain decomposition, which is data parallelism. Partitioning the problem's data domain and distributing portions to multiple processors for simultaneous execution. Good to use for problems where data is static. Dynamic data structure tied into single entity where entity can be subsetted. Domain is fixed but computation with various regions of domain is dynamic. You have a representation for functional decomposition and problem data set. Parallel programming paradigm has phase parallel, divide and conquer, pipeline, process form, workflow. The parallel program consists of number of super steps and each super step has two phases: computation phase and interaction phase. Phase parallel mode. The phase parallel mode offers a paradigm that is widely used in parallel programming. The parallel program consists of a number of super steps and each has two phases. In computation phase, multiple processes each perform an independent component C. In the subsequent interaction phase, the process performs one or more synchronous interaction operations such as barrier or a blocking communication. The next super step is executed. You have a diagrammatic representation here with synchronous interaction. Divide and conquer and pipeline. A parent process divides its workload into several smaller pieces and assigns them to a number of child processes. The child process then compute their workload in parallel and the results are merged by the parent. The dividing and the merging procedures are done recursively. This paradigm is very natural for computation such as quicksort. Pipeline. In pipeline paradigm, a number of processes form a virtual pipeline. A continuous data stream is fed into the pipeline and the process execute at different pipeline stages simultaneously in an overlapped fashion. We have a diagrammatic representation. Process form and work-pool model. This paradigm is also known as master-slave paradigm. A master processes execute the essentially substantial part of the parallel programming and spans a number of slave processes to execute the parallel workload. When a slave finishes its workload, it informs the master, which assigns a new workload to the slave. This is a very simple paradigm where the coordination is done by the master. This paradigm is often used in a shared variable model. A pool of works is realized in a global data structure. A number of processes are created. Initially, there may be just one piece of work in the pool. Any free process fetches a piece of work from the pool and executes it, producing 0, 1 or more new work pieces put into the pool. The parallel program ends when the work pool becomes empty. This paradigm facilitates load balancing as the workload is dynamically allocated to free processes. Parallel programming using Python. A thread is basically an independent flow of execution. A single process can consist of multiple threads. Each thread in a program performs a particular task. For example, when you are playing a game, say FIFA on your PC, the game as a whole is a single process, but it consists of several threads responsible for playing the music, taking input from the user, running operand synchrony, etc. Threading is that it allows a user to run different parts of the program in a concurrent manner and make the design of the program simpler. Multi-threading in Python can be achieved by importing the threading module. You have an example to import. Then this is a sample program using threads in Python. Here it is the simplest way to use a thread is to initiate it with a target. You can have a look over it. Concurrent programming paradigm. Computing systems model the world, and the world contains actors that execute independently of but communicate with each other. In modeling the world, many parallel executions have to be composed and coordinated, and that is where the study of concurrency comes in. There are two common models for concurrent programming: shared memory and message programming. Shared memory. In shared memory model of concurrency, concurrent models interact by reading and writing shared objects in memory. Message passing. In message passing model, concurrent models interact by sending messages to each other through a communication channel. Modules send off messages, and incoming messages to each module are queued up for handling. Issues in concurrent programming paradigm. Concurrent program is programming with multiple tasks. The major issues of concurrent programming are sharing computational resources between the tasks, interaction of the tasks. Objects shared by multiple tasks have to be safe for concurrent access. Such objects are called protected. Tasks accessing such an object interact with each other directly through the object. An access to the protected object can be lock free when the task accessing the object is not blocked for a considerable time, blocking otherwise. Blocking objects can be used for task synchronization. Example: events, mutex and semaphores, waitable timers, queues. You have a diagrammatic representation to represent the issues in concurrent programming. Synchronization in Python. Locks. Locks are perhaps the simplest synchronization primitives in Python. A lock has only two states: locked and unlocked. It is created in the unlocked state and has two principal methods: acquire and release. The acquire method locks the lock and blocks execution until the release method in some other coroutine set it to be unlocked. R-lock. R-lock class is a version of simple locking that only blocks if the lock is held by another thread, while simple locks will block if the same thread attempts to acquire the same lock twice. A reentrant lock only blocks if another thread currently holds the lock. Semaphore. A semaphore has an internal counter rather than a lock flag, and it only blocks if more than a given number of threads have attempted to hold the semaphore. Depending on how the semaphore is initialized, this allows multiple threads to access the same code section simultaneously. Lock in Python. Synchronization using lock. Lock has two states, locked and unlocked. Second, methods are used to manipulate them, acquire and release. Now the rules. If the state is unblocked, a call to acquire changes the state to locked. If the state is locked, a call to acquire blocks until another thread calls release. If the state is unlocked, a call to release raises a runtime error exception. If the state is locked, a call to release changes the state to be unlocked. You have a diagrammatic representation for this lock, acquire and release. Now this synchronization in Python has been represented and the coding for that has been given.